So yeah, we're just pretty much doing an Adobe workshop, just a simple way to, start editing your TikTok clips, Instagram reels, YouTube shorts. It's a pretty simple process. It can be tedious, but we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. So let's rock and roll. First off, whenever you open up Adobe, it should come up with something like this. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and click New Project, and this will come up here with a new project information where you can put in the title of it and then the location of where you want the file to go. So I'm just going to name this Adobe Test 1. So we'll just name that.
And actually on your capture format there, Shane, if you look at where it says DV, go ahead and click that drop down menu and there should be an HDV as well. So yeah, right down there.
Oh, DV. Okay.
The capture. Yeah. So go ahead and put that on HDV, and that's actually going to increase the quality of your clips.
Oh, okay. All right. Awesome. Oh yeah. Look at that.
Mr. Editor Man.
Yeah. So then it should come up with something like this. You can honestly move these panels around to wherever you see fit. This is where I have all mine because I feel like it's more, it's more versatile and easy to maneuver around the different menus that you can have here while editing. So this comes up. So the next thing you're going to want to do is we're going to create a sequence. So what we'll do is you'll click File and click New, and then come down here to Sequence. Now, I don't know what you typically click on here at AllNet, but I just go directly to my settings and go to Custom. Is there something that you do different?
So I have presets made. So what I do is whenever I edit, I actually just have a saved preset.
Okay.
So instead of like the YouTube format and all that kind of different stuff, I have already gone into and made an ABC HD. For shorts, you're going to want to use H.265 instead of H.264, which is going to be the HEVC format. The iPhones just and mobile devices just like that format better. And so because of that, I've already, got the 60 frames per second, got the 1080 by 1920, and then I just saved that as a preset to make it a little quicker whenever I'm creating my sequences.
Okay. You said the HDV?
No. So HEVC, let's see if you're able to find, go to AVC HD.
AVC HD, okay.
Yes, go to 1080p. And then you should be able to do 1080p 60. And then from there, once I'm thinking way too far ahead. I'm thinking in export settings.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so AVC HD 1080p is going to be what you're going to format the sequence in. And then once we're exporting, we're going to use the H.265 codec, which I'll show you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Gotcha.
I jumped the gun.
Yeah. No, you're good. So what I found was easier for me. I mean, obviously you said you have your presets, but I just, I came in here just for my first one, and just what I did was I changed the editing mode to custom, put my time base to 60 frames per second, and then I just flip that horizontal and vertical around. So instead of 1920 by 1080, it's 1080 by 1920. And then I didn't really mess with anything here. I just kind of left everything else as it was. And then I just hit create. And then it came up with this. So this will be your sequence. And I don't know why it gave me all of these audios. So I'm just going to delete these tracks. Which is weird why it gave me all of these. But, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It really is, though. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and grab my clip real quick. Let me just make sure that okay, so I am on the correct screen. I just want to make sure that I was on the correct screen for my presentation here. So let's just go ahead and go to that one right here, and I'm looking for Twitch clips. There it is. And basically what you can do is you can do basically a drag and drop and put it right there in your project. And what you can do from there after it's been implemented into the project tab over here, you can go ahead and drop it into your sequence. And it's probably going to give you something like this. You can honestly change the sequence settings, or you can keep existing. It's what I usually do is I keep existing just to keep that proper format there. And then so we got our clip here. And what you'll want to do next is click on the video portion of it. And this is entirely up to you what you want to do, if you have a face cam or not. Basically what you want to do is you want to hold in the Alt tab or the Alt button and drag your clip up to make 3 separate clips. And that's pretty much the basis of this. And then from here, we're going to get started on formatting the frames of each clip to be set up in that cell phone format. And usually what I do is I immediately start with the second, or with the top clip right here. And what you want to do is, for the first portion of it, is position it. Now, I don't know if you have a certain way to position it faster, but I just simply just drag this left or right and then up and down.
Yep. That is the best way to do it.
That's the best way to do it? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just go ahead and drag this over just a little bit to where you can see my face cam. And I'm going to scale this up a little bit, just so I can scale it much better. So I'm going to position this over here just like this. And now that I have a, really good look at where my webcam is, what we're going to do is we're going to do a cropping of my webcam. And basically what you want to do is, with the opacity tool here, opacity, I don't know how to pronounce that word.
Opacity, yeah.
Opacity. I've never known how to pronounce that word. Because I'm kind of stupid. So basically here you can do a circle format or a square format, and I'm going to go ahead and do the square format. Now it's going to obviously take everything away from here, but you see the square right here. So what you want to do is you want to drag that square to where your webcam is, and you can size it differently to how you want, or angle it differently. You can pull these to 3 different points. I'm just going to leave it the way that it is, which is right there, because that's perfect enough for me. And then what I do next is I look here at the mask feather, and I go ahead and I change that to 0 to go ahead and get the line set up properly there. I think that's what the mask feather does. I'm not...
Yes. So the mask feather is just going to soften the edges.
That's what it is. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll make it a little the cutoff is more sharp the lower the number is.
Yeah.
So whenever you have it on 0, it's going to be a perfect square. Mm-hmm. So if you want it a little more rounded, then you can add a little higher of a feather.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, there you go. And then the next portion of this, we're going to go ahead and work with the next portion of the clip right here. And this is going to be our gameplay. And pretty much what you want to do, it's pretty simple. What I do is as you can see, there's still my camera there from that clip right here. So what I'm going to do in order to get this to look better is I'm just going to scale until that camera is out of the clip at all completely. So right there, that's perfect. Now, obviously you can zoom it in more if you would like, and you just want that type of standard clip, but I'm kind of bougie and I like to add a little bit of aesthetic to my clips. So what I typically do is, whenever I'm going into this last clip here, what I will do is I will scale it out to fit the rest of what's going to be the cell phone screen. And that should be good right there. And we'll change that to 180 actually, just because my ADHD of a brain doesn't like 179. And so what we're going to do from here is, for my aesthetic, what I do for all of my clips is I go into my effects, which you can have that right here. Pretty much just go into the video effects, and what I'm going to be looking for is the blur and sharpen. Now you can have various different, video effects that you can add to your clips. Typically, whenever I'm working on this final portion of the clip, the bottom video, is I add a Gaussian blur to it. Gaussian blur just kind of adds that aesthetic that I really love in there. You'll probably see it here just a second right there. It will actually pop up there in the sequence effects right here. And you can change the blurriness right here to whatever you see fit. I typically just drag this over until it gets to about let's just put that at 30. And as you can see here, the clip's pretty well done. I mean, so what I like to do before I go ahead and ship this off to being exported, I just go ahead and I play it to make sure that it's working properly. And there is audio obviously coming to it. And I'm going to make sure that there's no stuttering in the frames at all. Going to make sure that everything fits in there perfectly. And looks like everything's running pretty smoothly in this clip.
And it looks great.
Yeah.
And it really is just that easy. I mean, like, you can get it as fancy as you want, or you can make it as simple as you want.
Let's fucking go, baby!
You know, coming from someone who has edited with Premiere for several years, that is the beauty of Premiere, is you can dumb it down or make it just as completely like, let's get this thing out and get it done. Be as efficient, if you will, as you possibly want. But you know, you did that in like what, 30, not even 15 minutes, maybe? Not even
15, no.
Yeah, and so you were just able to get all of that done, and you have a really quality clip. A really quality quip. Like super duper quick. And one of the things that I did want to mention, because I know when I was a beginner editor, a little baby nut, I would get scared or confused because I would click that mask button. So you know when you trimmed out your webcam with the mask?
Yeah.
So there's actually something that it will do that for newer editors is going to be a little bit confusing. So if you separate that top clip and just bring it out away from all the others, like bring it to like 45 seconds on the end.
Okay.
And just isolate it. So yeah, drag it forward all the way until it's like no longer on. So one of the things that creating a mask does is it will, and I didn't understand this until it was explained to me. You can only see what is inside the mask, right? So that's why he has created multiple different layers by holding Alt and dragging and dropping. So go ahead and move your playhead on the sequence forward to that clip on the end. So up at the, no, leave the clip where it is, and then up at the top where that yellow bar is, drag that playhead over there. Yeah, just click right there. Oh, a little bit higher.
Oh,
you gotta be like, there we go. So do you see how it has cut out everything else other than that square? So if you are editing and you are masking, specifically cutting out the webcam like Shane has done here, don't be afraid if everything else goes away and everything goes black. You didn't lose your footage. That is a-okay, and that is why he has created duplicate layers. So it's kind of like a mosaic.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You can put as many pieces of paper on top of each other as you want. But keep in mind that the order in which they are placed on top of one another matters. So the clip that is above the clip below it, like the one with your webcam, as soon as it's over the gameplay, that webcam is going to be on top of the gameplay, meaning wherever the webcam is, it is going to cover up the gameplay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so that is very important. And if you're newer to editing, that is something to keep in mind. So you haven't lost your clip, I promise.
Appreciate it. Alrighty, so after everything looks good on your clip and you're ready to go on that, what I've noticed is they have this quick export, but I'm assuming there's a different way to export it as well. How do you exactly export your clips?
Yeah, absolutely. So go ahead and click File up in the top right, and obviously make sure that you save it. So always save as when you're editing. It's a very good habit to get in.
Yeah.
And you can just go ahead and save that. And then what you're going to do is go to File again, and then Export's going to be down towards the bottom.
There it is, right there.
And you're right. Quick exporting absolutely works, but we can be a little bit more meticulous and intentional when we export media, just like you're doing there.
Okay.
And so right now you're going to see on the right it says AVI. AVI is not the format we want to use. Remember earlier I mentioned that H.265.
There it is.
There it is. And so I have like custom settings when I'm doing videos for like Delphi and other clientele that I make videos for. So when you go into the basic video settings down there at the bottom, there's a few things that we're going to want to look at. So you can actually scroll down. There's a little scroll bar there.
Oh, yeah.
On the video. So few different things. As you scroll down, you're going to notice that it's already in 1080 by 1920. It's perfect. That's the vertical format we want to be in.
Yeah.
We're at 60 frames per second, which is great. We're going to check that render at maximum depth. And so that's going to make sure that our render is going to be as high quality as it can possibly be. Keep scrolling down as we keep going and moving down. And mastering display color volume. Keep on moving. Let's see. Okay, so here we go. So we have the option for bitrate encoding, and we can kind of set a target for how big we want this file to be. Keep in mind, the bigger the file, the harder it is to store. And also, different websites will reduce your quality if it is too big of a file. So if that is the case, you're actually going to want to keep it as precise as you can. And so CBR there stands for constant bitrate encoding, meaning that it's going to be a consistent bitrate across the entire video. VBR stands for variable bitrate, meaning that the bitrate will go up and down according to different times of the video that require higher quality encoding. And so I typically use CBR because it's going to keep it consistent. If you are editing a YouTube video as opposed to a short, I recommend using H.264 with a VBR 2 pass, which is not going to be an option for H.265, this HEVC that we're editing in. So go ahead and click CBR, Shane, and let's crank that bad girl up on the bitrate. So I go for a target of 15 to 20. Realistically, 10 megabytes per second on the bitrate is not even bad either. So that you don't need to lowball it too much.
Yeah. Let's just switch that to 15. And
15 should be perfect. And then there's one more setting we're looking for, and it's actually at the bottom there. It's use maximum render quality. Okay. And once we have that checked, I like to go through and just double check. So in the summary, which is going to be up towards the top, I'm looking for a few things. Okay, so 1080 by 1920, 60 FPS. I've got CBR target 15 megabytes per second. And then AAC down there, the 320 kilobytes per second, is actually going to be our audio codec. So everything looks perfect. Once I've got all of that figured out, I'm going to go to my output name, and I'm going to click that blue where it says sequence 2, and I'm going to pick a location where I want that clip to go. And that is very important. You never want to lose your clips, and you also want to name it something that you're going to remember. Because if you're posting or editing a lot of clips, you don't want to get them confused. Yeah. So I typically give them a special unique title pertaining to what I was doing in the clip.
Yeah, exactly. Like you could even see it here. I have my TikTok highlights that I always put in here. It doesn't obviously show all my clips in there because I actually do clean out the folders as I go through, like about every 20-30 clips. And that way I just, I keep it fresh in there.
Looks great.
Or wait, no, I don't. Actually, I take that back. It's because it's a different file than what I usually do because I've been doing a lot of my edits on DaVinci, so that's why it's not there. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put this in my Premiere test videos that I have, just to keep that away from there, and we're just going to replace that one. And I'm assuming after that, what you can do is you can either queue it, or you can just go ahead and export immediately.
Correct. That is absolutely right.
Okay.
And at this point, just clicking export is completely fine. All that clicking Q will do is send it to the media encoder.
Yep.
And so if you have further specifications that you need to do, which at this point I feel like we've already been pretty tedious, or meticulous rather, on what settings we're using. If you have more settings or a very specific encoding queue, like for high-end films is typically when you're going to send it into different file sizes and different codecs and stuff like that. That's when you would use that. If not, you can just click export.
Yeah. And obviously it's giving me this because sequence 2 already exists. Do I want to replace it? I'm going to go ahead and replace it anyway. And then there you go. It starts encoding your sequence, and it's going to take about 20 more seconds. And by then our clip will be done, and you can find it in your folder there and actually take a look at it, make sure everything looks good on it. Obviously, I mean, hopefully you already did that beforehand, but it's going to be in your folder. It's going to be in your folder ready to be, uploaded to your Google Drive or OneDrive, whichever you use, and then go straight. That way you can download it to your phone and upload it straight to TikTok.
And one last thing, Shane, just kind of a forewarning. In that HEVC H.265 format that we exported it in, it is not supported by PC, which is unfortunate. So when you export that file, it's going to be an incredible quality for your mobile device, whatever it may be, but you actually can't access it on your computer. So don't freak out. If you use Google Drive, just go ahead and send it to your phone, download it on your phone, and then view it from there. Because if you try to double click and open it like a regular file, it's actually not going to work. But don't be frightened. I promise the clip is there, and it will be an incredible quality for
every algorithm is up.
Yep, there it is. See, it's not even working right there. And then if I were to upload it to my Google Drive and download it to my phone, it would work.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Oh, that's pretty much the gist of it. So
yeah, absolutely.
There you go. That's how you make clips for TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Facebook Reels, whichever you prefer. Hopefully you guys take all this information and use it very wisely. Really appreciate everybody who took the time to watch this or even be here to attend this workshop to see how we do things. But as always, we'll see you in the next one, and thank you for stopping by. Take care.